we find Renee in a stronger position than we did last season. I think she's no longer a pawn in the game. She really feels like a game player. And like you said, she's come this far and she's really not willing to step down to Jorge Cuevas, who is Frankie's cousin, who's introduced, who's played by the incredible Luis Guzman, who offset is just infallible and on set. But I mean, Renee and Jorge do not like each other. And it's clear that there is a past and they are not fans of each other. And I think Renee just really doesn't like the idea of him being involved more. Not only does he bring another level of chaos and violence to her world, but she doesn't want to step down to him. You know, she's come this far, she's trying to build the life. And I think Jorge is constantly trying to sow distrust between Frankie and Renee. And it's causes some problems.
I'm looking forward to see what will happen with the Ray Abruzzo too, but I know that we can anticipate something, so
yes.
I have to wait.
One of those relationships that what I can say is, you know, I think those feelings were, you know, real in season 1. And I think it came down to they both having separate agendas and not trusting each other. And so even though those feelings might still exist, it's one of those relationships that was built on secrets. So how do you truly trust one another, even if those feelings are real?
Okay, great. A good anticipation. Yes. So Hightown is a series that brings high themes to the screen that are currently not so much represented on television. I mean about drug rehabilitation, sex addiction, and depression too. What do you hope is the message that will be received by the audience watching this series?
I think, you know, the show really tries to give an honest portrayal of these addictions and their characters' road to recovery and redemption. And I think the hope is that they are humanized because, you know, the epidemic is a serious issue that needs to be spoken about more. And these people do need help and need our support and shouldn't be looked at as these terrible people because that's not the truth. And as our show shows, yes, they're fiercely flawed, but they're human beings and they're doing everything they can to have a better life.
So, what was the most important lesson that you learned bringing Renee on stage?
Oh boy. So
the last complicated question as well.
Yes. When I first spoke to the role, I mean, it was a dream role for me. My life was really nothing like Renee's life. So I had to really open my mind up to her perception and what her world is like to live in. And that included, you know, things like dancing, which I couldn't even touch my toes when I booked the role. And then I had to really train and learn more about that world. And I have to say, like all the girls on the show, all the dancers on the show, and all of my trainers were just so incredibly supportive. And it ended up being a really empowering experience that I wasn't expecting. And yeah, along with that, lots of challenges, I'd say, learning how to portray her world.
Did you take home some souvenir from Renee's set?
Have I taken home a souvenir? I'm trying to think if I have. I will say this, the only thing coming to mind is I did get a pole, so I could continue dancing and working out because I never would have thought that was something I enjoyed so much. But I definitely did enjoy it, and it's a little part of Renee for me at home.
Right, cinema, series, and sport too, because I'm writing for Corriere dello Sport in Italy. So I have a question, a curiosity from you, and you have a past of sportsman. You played sport. You played softball, is right?
Right. I played softball for all the way up till I was 18 years old. I used to train 6 hours a day. I played competitively. I played for my high school. I was a pitcher and I loved it. And I still to this day, I was actually supposed to go play in college and then I moved to LA and became an actor instead. But I still miss it. And every time I drive by a field, I still get, you know, butterflies because it was a really important part of my life and something I really loved.
Ciao Simone.
Ciao Amaury, come stai?
Muy bien. A ver, I don't know. I always feel like I want to speak to you in Italian with the little Italian that I know. No, but I was in Italy this summer. I was in Ravello, Italia.
Ravello, yeah, wonderful.
Precioso. I was there for a beautiful wedding that I got invited. So I was in Ravello, I went to Amalfi, I went to Positano. Italia is my favorite country. Don't tell my country of Puerto Rico.
In my opinion, the strength of this series is in the script and the personality of the characters. They are all people with so many personal problems and to manage and so many difficulties to face in their business. Your character, Frankie, who has been in prison through all the first season, now is out, and it is logical to expect an evil evolution of your character. I guess now we will look who is real Frank Cuevas. Is it right?
Very much so. You hit it right on the nail. First of all, like you said, it's all in the writing. Rebecca Cutter is the creator, and the group of writers have done an amazing job of taking season one now to another level in season two and elevate it in a way that I don't even know how to explain it to you. Every time we took a script was like, it was insane. It was just phenomenal. And going back to what you said about my character, yes, Frankie, when he was in prison, he was like a puppeteer. He was a mastermind.
Yeah.
He was everything was from prison. He was making things happen in order to be able to get out of prison. Now that he's out, we see how ruthless he is. Now he's taking things by the hand and really dealing with everything. The work of not only just the writers but the actors. I have to say I'm blessed to be in a cast where every actor is just bringing their A game.
When you find all the cast together again on the set after the great emotions of the first,
for me it was great because I was in prison. I was by myself. I got a chance to work, with Renee, of course, my girlfriend. Most of my scenes were with her. I had one scene with Osito, with Atkins, and I had two scenes with Abruzzo, James. But now, and with Monica, of course. But now to be out and about and having to play with these guys, I cannot wait for you guys to see season two. I cannot emphasize how, and again, I'm just not saying this because I'm in it. It was the show just takes to a different level. It's like when you go to a roller coaster and you're setting up. And when you're up there and you go, and there's a little bit of a calm, and then you go, oh shit, now we're going down. That's then you go, okay, where are we going? And that's what the show is about.
You got something in common with Prison Break. In both the series, you were in prison. Why every time you are in prison? Probably for your face. Yeah. Are you so cruel?
I'm actually a nice guy. I always joke it's the face, but you know what? It's not just the face. I look for these characters. I love these characters because to me, there's something about playing. Although in Prison Break, I was not a villain. I was a good guy in prison. And that's when I'm a villain. But I like characters that I would, God forbid, I would never want to be in prison. Trust me, I don't wish this on anybody, God forbid. But it's one of those characters that I find it exciting to play. I find nuances. I find layers on these characters. Then to play, no offense, but I don't like playing cops. I don't like, what I'm saying? I don't like playing a cop. I don't like playing a doctor. And there's nothing wrong with them. It's just, I like the excitement of playing these characters. Listen, I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I played a cop before. I've never played a doctor, but anyway, I don't want to take your time, but I'm just saying it's interesting.
Last question is, what was the most important lesson that you learned bringing Frankie on stage?
Wow, that's a good question. The most important lesson, well, I'm gonna have to say loyalty. That loyalty is something that it was always emphasized by Frankie. And you'll see how there's betrayal. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a lot of betrayal, and that's what gets him, because that you get when you get betrayed by the person that you least expect, it just shows you go, whoa. Lessons in life, loyalty is what's going to get you through. I mean, at least get you through life. You're loyal. When you're loyal, you got somebody, you got somebody next to you that's going to be your backbone, or you can rely on that person. It's amazing how we always go to family. You can have all the friends you have, and I've been very blessed with amazing friends, but you can always go back to family, because that's when that's loyalty is there. It's in the blood. And I have to say that was the biggest lesson that I had from this guy, because the first thing about that I feel like Frankie lives by, it's loyalty.